What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to be looking at the different types of websites that are out there. And what I mean is the different types of websites that you could implement for your own business as well. Now, the different types of websites we're going to look at, they have different purposes. They have different end results. And you can take a look at these, evaluate your own for comparison, and decide if your best interest is going to be to adjust your website based on the desired result that you want your website visitors, who are real people looking at real websites that you're creating and taking real considerations of whether or not they should take the action that you want them to. So let's hop over to the computer and check it out. Okay, so we're looking at the different types of websites and their purposes. Now, these are the categories that I've seen, and I've really delved into various websites from a lot of clients and prospective clients that have come and talked to me, and we've taken a look together. So of these, I guarantee you there can be different categories, there can be subcategories, but these are the overarching types with the major differences that I see, and I wanted to introduce them to you. So we're going to start over here on the left-hand side with paid advertising. And the purpose for paid advertising, we're going to see an example of all these websites, by the way. You want to start with paid ads in understanding that your end result is to drive a result. Obviously, you can argue that all these different types of websites, you want to drive a result. But the purpose with paid ads is you want to see for how many dollars out, how much can you get back? What kind of return on investment can you get? And you can see immediate results relatively quick, but the exchange is you want to have an immediate exchange of value with the audience that you're targeting. So you're going to customize a lot of the stuff, and you're not going to have any navigational menus. And we'll talk about this later when we see the example, but you want them to come to this one page, which is targeted to that specific audience, and you want one of two things to happen. They're going to become a lead or whatever kind of desired result you want them to take, like buy a product, or you want them to leave because it's not for them. And you're not worried about other factors like SEO people talk about with bounce rate. You're concerned about how many people take the desired result and how can we get more of that for the same dollar value. Then we move over to branding. And the purpose of this, you can see this a lot in New York Stock Exchange companies or any companies that have stock that you're looking to peddle to the market. You want to educate that audience, inform and inspire them to have a deeper connection with that brand. So they'll keep coming back to you, checking you out, and eventually you're going to be roping them in so much that they decide to invest in a long-term relationship with you by buying stock, for example. Now, the branding side, that can also delve into bigger ticket items such as coaching programs. But at the end of the day, you need to get in front of that audience, get into their hearts and minds, and that's the idea behind branding. And then with global reach, obviously you want to become the subject matter expert for something. And with that, you're able to focus on an individual topic or an overarching topic, and you can dive deeper into subtopics with interior pages. But whether it's a blog or some other kind of website, the goal is to have sales come out of this, whether it's getting somebody on the phone or it's getting somebody to buy something. Whether you have an automated system or the higher the ticket, chances are you're going to have more work to do up front in order to get them to that buying emotion and really say, you know what, for the amount of value that you're asking for, I believe that the money in my pocket is different from the value that I'm going to get out of this, so I'm agreeing to buy. And then you take them through the buying process, whether it's over the phone or buying through a form submit. And then you have the local space, which is essentially what you're doing over here on the global reach. It's just at a more hyper-local level. And whether it's in the blue-collar space, the medical space, oftentimes you're limited to geographic regions. Now, depending on your specialty or how many people are coming to visit the area, you could have more sales come from out of the area of people who are looking for specifically your services. And sometimes you can complement that with branding, but the focus of local services to help your local community within a driving distance. If you can reach them, you can help them. And then the focus of it is to have more service calls or more lead form submits so you can turn that into money, turn that into testimonials, increase your Google map listing, and all other sorts of things that you can generate results from, and even turn them into repeat customers if they have more incidences or more properties that need more work with. And then with the e-commerce space, obviously it's the same as the global space. You're still playing in that bigger pond outside of the local realm here. But the difference is you have different products and results that you can present to your target audience. So when they're on your website, what they're considering ultimately is going to be in the collection pages or the product pages, what they call category pages sometimes. We'll see that in a moment. And you want to get something happening. Now, some people have differing views on whether or not you need to have content on these different pages. But instead of writing lengthy blog articles or trying to brand that thing, typically you just want to get in front of your target audience. But how you get in front of that target audience can actually stem back to implementing some of these different strategies, especially when you're competing for very challenging phrases, whether you're in the medical supply space or you're in the t-shirt space. Getting to the top of search or trying to drive and benefit from maximizing your ad spend, whatever you decide to do to try and get traffic here, you're going to need to think about that clearly because it's going to influence how you set up your website. So let's take a look at a few examples. So typically when you're going to a Google map listing, oftentimes you're looking for somebody in the local space. Well, this gentleman has put together a successful marketing agency that's focused on paid advertising. But the difference is, unlike other websites that you see, there's no menu at the top here. So this is more of a paid advertising funnel where people land on here and all this information is targeted to one specific audience. And everything is talking about what that specific audience is looking for, what they're interested in, what they're going to get. But at the end of the day, you want one result happening here, which is for them to take the desired action that you're proposing. And usually you've already prepped them in the sales copy before they actually land on this page. So whether it's a Google ad, a social media ad, what have you, it could even be mailers telling them to go to the specific website or landing page or a QR code. But at the end of the day, your focus is get them to take this desired result. Now, this is different from a New York Stock Exchange company or somebody who actually wants people to have investors over here. Now, you can have multiple products here, whether it's a service or a physical or an abstract product idea like insurance, or if you have investment products that you want to share with them, or maybe even service those clients with a claims page over here. Whether you have an audience of a B2C kind of space, business to client, or business to business over here, you still want to communicate to your audience that, hey, we're here, we're present, we're thinking of you, and here's information about our company. So they can come here frequently, get the most up-to-date information about what's going on, and then make a decision whether or not they want to purchase. Over here, we're looking at another version of a global space. This is more of like the blog spectrum, where you're getting into the hearts and minds of the audience and you're sharing with them information about a topic that they're subject matter interested in. And if you can get into their hearts and minds and let them know that this is an opportunity for them, eventually you can move them down the rabbit hole with more blog content that they come up and read. Now, when we jump into the local space, Google Maps is going to be very powerful and instrumental to this. And the reason behind that is because usually people are searching for a specific service within a specific region. So they're looking for somebody close that can come and make it convenient for them to not only buy, but they also want it to be easy to have the desired end result, which is why they're buying in the first place. So if you have anything dealing with a tree removal, whether it's trimming the tree, getting the roots out, or the actual whole tree that you just want to get removed, you call somebody like this company, who this is all they do, this is the one subject that they focus on. Unfortunately, there are some companies who get had, and they get into the space of having a subdomain put in here where they're piggybacking off of someone else's web address, and they're trying to get they're basically trying to cut corners, and they're trying to get a website like this at a subdomain where they don't own the web address, they don't own the hosting, they're just borrowing this so that they can get something for free or something very cheap. But the disadvantages of this outweigh the idea of what benefit could be had by having a website like this. So we'll talk about how it's important that at the end of the day you own the website that you have. So you get web hosting, you build your website on this web hosting, which is like the property that you would build a house on, and then you slap an address on it for other people to navigate to your website to see. So instead of having GPS where people have to drive to your location, you can have a domain address, and people on the World Wide Web who are browsing can actually pull up your website and see what's going on for you. Now there's one more type that we're going to look at here, and this is e-commerce. And typically what separates this kind of branding or this kind of entity or strategy, however you choose to view it, is something called a categories page or a collections page. They're internal pages talking about a specific subject. And what you can do is help your audience and visitors to really hyper-focus and narrow down what it is they're looking for. And what's interesting about this company is they've been able to pull this sidebar in. So you have sort of like two different navigation bars. And what you can do is click down this rabbit hole and get more not hyper-local, but hyper-relevant into the different topics that you have going on here. So you can decide what it is that you want, what it is you're looking for, and they can get you to that end result a lot faster. Help you navigate the website and ultimately decide what it is you want to buy and get you closer to the buying decision faster. But at the end of the day, where you're looking to generate calls, sales in physical products, or lead form submits, maybe a lead magnet in exchange, you want to have a desired result. And no business owner is in the space of not making money. Everybody wants to make money through selling something and getting a desired result. So decide, based on these different categories, what it is your business needs in order to better communicate with your target audience. Because the further down you can relate to them, inspire them, and get them to a buying decision, the faster you're going to see revenue come your way. So if you found this incredibly informative, what I'd like to invite you to do is better understand the different things that you need to implement on your website in order to give your ideal customer and website visitor the greatest buying experience ever. And it starts with having a secure website. With the recent updates that have come out, you want to make sure that, especially if you're in Google search results, you want them to be able to visit your website. And we'll talk about the different factors that go in here and the risks that come with not having a secure website. And then we're also going to talk about over here with conversion rate optimization. So visit the channel, check out conversion rate optimization, check out this SSL security certificate. I'll drop the links below here, and we will talk to you soon.